In this exercise, we will create this video. I go to After Effects, New Composition. I'm gonna set the duration to 10 seconds. Click on OK. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a solid. Right click, New, Solid, and I'm gonna keep the color black. It doesn't matter now. OK. I'm gonna write the word water in the middle. I'll go to Type Tool, make one click, and I'm gonna write water. I select the text. I'm gonna choose the font Arial, font style black, the thickest option, and size I'm gonna try 200, maybe 300, and I'm gonna place the text in the middle like this. I press Ctrl and I snap it like this. And now I'm gonna click here, swap fill and stroke. We no longer have a fill and we have a white stroke. And I'm gonna make the stroke thicker. I'm gonna choose, let's try 10. I think this looks good. And now I'm gonna animate this text and make it appear. I'll go to this text layer. I right click, create, and I'm gonna choose create shapes from text. I click here, and just like that, we have a new shape layer called water outlines, and the original text layer became invisible right here. It didn't get deleted, it's just invisible now. And if I toggle this down, water outlines, content, we see all the letters right here, one by one, as shapes. Water outline selected. I'm gonna go to add, trim paths. I toggle this down. I'm gonna put the playhead at 1 second like this. I'm gonna change the end here to 0, and you can see how the animation is gonna look like. I'm gonna set this to 0. I click on the stopwatch right here, and after 3 seconds I put the playhead here, and now I'm gonna set the end to 100%. And now if I play, this is exactly the animation we wanted. That's how I wanted the text to appear. I'm gonna toggle this up, and I'm gonna draw a line right here, a line like this, using this tool, pen tool. We have fill set to none, and we have stroke set to white, and the thickness 10. Now I can click here and click in another place, and just like that I draw a line. Control Z to go back, Control Z to go back. If I want the line to be perfectly horizontal, I can make one click and press Shift, and then make one click here, and we get a horizontal line, a perfectly horizontal line like this. This is exactly what we wanted. I'm gonna change the thickness to 20 like this, or maybe 15. Press enter, go back to selection tool. I think this looks good. Gonna put this a little bit down here, and now I'm gonna add a wiggle effect. I toggle this down, and now I'm gonna click on add and click on wiggle paths. Here we have wiggle paths. I toggle this down. We have size. I'm gonna increase this to about 100. And if I play now, this is the effect we get. If I increase it more and I play, this is the effect we get. Control Z, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna keep it at 100, like this. Detail, I'm not gonna change this. Points, I'm gonna change this from corner to smooth. Now we have smooth corners like this. And I think this looks good. I'm not gonna change anything else. Now I'm gonna duplicate this line by using an effect right here. I go to add and click on repeater. Now we have repeater. We see 2 copies of the same line, 3 copies. If I toggle this down, we see copies, the number of copies 3. I can increase it and get more copies, as you see. Control Z to go back. I'm gonna make just 2 copies. Enter, offset. Control Z, I'm not gonna change this. I'm gonna click on transform repeater 1. We have here position set to 100. I'm gonna set this to 0. And I'm gonna change the Y value like this. The space between the copies. I'm gonna increase it a little bit. Like this. About 640. Let's play. I think this looks good. Now I'm gonna change the background. Black solid. I'll make sure it's selected. I'm gonna go to effects and presets. All the way in the top, animation presets. I click. Here we have backgrounds. I toggle this down, and here we have several options. I can drag and drop one of these presets and show you the different backgrounds we have here. Control Z to go back. Let's try this option. And it's also animated. Control Z to go back. I'm gonna drag and drop this one and play. I'm gonna show you a few others. Curtain. All these are animated backgrounds. Control Z to go back. You can try them all on your own, but for this exercise, I'm gonna choose this one, river. I'm gonna place the playhead right here because the animation starts where the playhead is. I place the playhead right here, and I'm gonna drag and drop river like this. And now if I play, we get this background. I think it looks nice. I notice the animation stops right here. I'm gonna press U just to bring all the keyframes. I'm gonna select these keyframes and take them all the way to the end like this. And now the animation is gonna last 10 seconds like this. And of course it's slowed down. I think this looks nice. Now what I want to do, I want to add a glow effect to all these layers. What I'm gonna do, instead of applying the glow effect to each one of these layers, I'm gonna create an adjustment layer. I go to layer, new, and look for adjustment layer, or I can simply right click, new, and adjustment layer. Adjustment layer, I click, and now we have this adjustment layer. We notice nothing has changed. If I make it invisible and visible again, nothing has changed. But if I go to effects and presets right here and look for glow, stylized glow, and I drag and drop the effect to the adjustment layer like this, and now as you see, the glow effect is applied to all the layers underneath the adjustment layer. I think I'm gonna reduce the effect of the glow. I go to glow threshold. I'm gonna change this from 60 to 80 like this. I think this looks good. I can disactivate the glow effect and activate it once again to see the difference like this. I'm gonna add another effect to all the layers. I wanna apply a blue look. I wanna make the entire composition bluish. To do that, I go to effects and presets, and I'm gonna look for a preset. I go animation presets, image creative. I'm gonna look for blue wash, colorize blue wash, and I'm gonna colorize the entire composition just by dragging and dropping to the adjustment layer. And just like that, it affected all the layers underneath it, as you see. I'm gonna add one more thing. I'm gonna add an underwater effect, what we call a turbulence effect. I go to effects and presets, and I'm gonna look for turbulent displace, distort turbulent displace. I drag and drop right here, and now look at the effect we get. We distorted the image, as you see. I'm gonna set the amount to 40 like this, and here we have the evolution. If I change this value, look what's happening in the screen. This is the underwater effect we wanted. Control Z to go back. I'm gonna put the playhead right here. I click on the stopwatch right here. I'm gonna put the playhead all the way in the end of the timeline. Click here, and I'm gonna make 3 rotations. I type 3 and press enter. And now if I play, this is exactly the effect we wanted, the underwater effect. We see how the image is distorting. And all these effects are applied to the adjustment layer. If I make the adjustment layer invisible, look what we get. I make the adjustment layer visible again, and we get this result. And if I choose to move the adjustment layer like this, I move it and I play. Notice how all the effects are applied to only this part, and this part has no effects. Control Z to go back. The last thing I'm gonna do, we notice we have a problem here. We see these black areas. I want to remove that. To do that, I'm gonna use a null object. I go to layer, new, null object. I'm gonna select all these layers, and I'm gonna parent them to the null object like this. Now I go to null object, I press S for the scale. I'm gonna scale this up like this and make sure there are no black areas. I scaled it up to 111%. I think this looks good. There are no more black areas. And now we no longer need the null object. I can select it and delete it. I'm gonna play the entire animation now. It might take some time to render. You notice it's a little bit slow. It's a little bit slow. You can see how it's rendering right here. I'm gonna play it one more time. And now the exercise is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.